A couple more things. I got Monero David on YouTube that says simply, "You rock, love from France. We appreciate you." I got a bunch of students from France. And I got Tom Cribb on Zoom that says, "Risk-wise, would Brian choose multiple stable coins or one over the others?" Tom, look, first of all, on a stable coin, it's not $1. So let's just understand that there is risk above and beyond $1. That being said, you can get some incredible rates of return, and it's a great liquid place to have your assets in something that's more stable than, say, a crypto asset. The gong just went off again, so someone just joined our academy. And by the way, I want to shout out Matilda from the United States, who also just joined the DeFi Academy. She pulled the trigger. She applied, she got the email, and then she clicked the link and typed in those digits from her plastic, and she joined. Honestly, Matilda, you're probably going to get 1,000x from this investment if you look for the next 10 years. So it's a no-brainer. And again, Tom, to finish your question, I personally like the liquid stable coins like USDC and USDT, although the Luna people are doing some very exciting things. And I think there's a bunch of very interesting protocols coming forward. Honestly, my job as a teacher is to be a student every single day. And so I'm constantly learning protocols. I'm constantly playing games in the metaverse. I'm constantly buying NFTs and minting NFTs and selling NFTs. I'm deep in this space, and all of my students are as well. And that's the way we stay ahead of the curve. So again, great questions. I'm going to finish off with part 3. Again, if you haven't realized that you need to be in this space by now, please wake up and smell the blockchain. Click the link below, LondonReal.tv/DeFi, DEFI. Apply now in the next, say, hour. I'll read your application. We can get you in on the course tonight if you qualify. Again, get this in before next year, because honestly, I think next year will be too late. I really do. The time to take advantage of this is now. All right, let's talk about part 3, and that is these concepts. I want you to understand a concept called value proposition and what I call the 5 T's, which is team, traction, technology, tokenomics, and terms and condition. I'm going to put up a screenshot here from my good friend Alex Fazell of Swissborg, and he was in my studio just a few weeks ago talking about the 5 T's. And again, we went deep into the Polkadot parachain auctions, and we talked about some of these companies and broke down these concepts. And again, we're constantly speaking with the best people in the market, talking about real protocols. And I want to talk about these concepts right now. Let me start with something called a value proposition. Now, before we start looking at charts and graphs, before you start looking at portfolio analysis and market capitalizations, you got to start off with a value proposition. And that's simply this: what does this thing do that's better than what someone else does? That's what a value proposition is. Or as Peter Thiel would say, famous early investor, what is your unfair advantage? That's what Peter Thiel used to say. I like that. And let me define this. A value proposition refers to this: the value a crypto asset promises to deliver to customers if they choose to buy their tokens or use their product. This is a declaration of intent that introduces a blockchain's brand to customers by telling them what they stand for, how they operate, and why they deserve your business. This is really important. That's the value prop. Again, look at something like AVAX. We've had the CEO, Emin Gün Sirer, on the show. He said, "Brian, my protocol is fast. It's got a better consensus protocol. It works. It's got more transactions per second. We've got more users on there, and it's going to win." That's his value prop. Okay, good. I'm in. Again, look at Yatsui from Animoca Brands. "Brian, I'm building the open metaverse, not Mark Zuckerberg's closed metaverse with his new Meta company. I think we all should have ownership over our information. I think we should own the metaverse, and it should be open to the future, not owned by some one company. And that's what I'm building at Animoca Brands." Guess what, Yat? I'm in. And this goes to all of the people that come on our show and a lot of the investments that we have here and our students have. They have a great value proposition that makes sense, and you can see them delivering on that promise. That's where we start. If you can't see that, then don't even go to the 5 T's when it comes to looking at a protocol. So again, assess the value proposition. Does it really deliver something unique? And does it deliver something that's needed and something that you think will be of value? Very important. Then we get into the 5 T's, and that's team, traction, technology, tokenomics, and terms and condition. We'll probably put the screen grab on here and you can see them again. Again, this is a great screen grab from our friends over at Swissborg, Alex Fazell. And let me jump into the first one, which is team. And rather than me just talking about some of these protocols, let me talk about something that we spoke about in studio. And that's when I sat down with Alex Fazell and we went through the Polkadot parachain auctions. And he said, "Brian, let's look at the team and let's talk about Akala." And this is one of the Polkadot parachain auctions that we spoke about that Alex said was hot. And, we went ahead and invested in here. And a lot of our students did as well. And guess what? It won the auction because guess what? It had a lot of things that a lot of people were looking for. And one of them was team. And you can see from the slide that's up here on the screen, you can see an incredible team. Again, it was part of the Polkadot network. You've got Professor Gavin Woods there. You've got Pantera, who I referenced before, early investors in Acala. You've got Binance Labs as well. You've got Polychain Capital. You've got the Web3 foundations, which have given Acala grants. These are the team that shows you that a protocol might be worth backing. This is not difficult information to find, and this is something that you can quickly research about any protocol out there. So again, look at the team. Very, very important. All right, you can come back to me first. And now before I put the slide up, I want to talk to you about this concept of traction. Next, we have to see, is this protocol going anywhere? Back in 2017 and 18, we had the ICO boom and bust. People were raising billions of dollars on the back of a white paper. That's because there wasn't a lot of information out there and we couldn't really see if these projects had traction. But today we can see traction. You can tell oftentimes before investing in a protocol if anyone's using it, if anyone's developing on it, if anyone's doing something with it. And that's where we get into something called traction. And again, I'll put this slide on screen. This is something that Alex and I spoke about when it came to Acala. And we looked at the real traction metrics. Look at this screen. You see the followers on Twitter. You see the influencers that are talking about this protocol. You can see interviews with them on YouTube. This is Alex's channel, The Kryptonites, an amazing channel. Check him out. You can see the founders actually articulating their vision. You can see their followers in the Telegram groups. You can see their followers in Discord group. You can really see traction about to happen. This is something you can quickly assess and go in and check out yourself. And without it, something looks a little bit weird. So that's how we look at traction. And I will say one thing, be careful because traction can be simulated by bots. So always make sure, take a look at those followers, make sure that people are actually interacting, make sure that English is being used, that it's not a lot of weird bot action happening around there. Try to make sure that there's real people and trends behind that traction. And the third T that I want to talk about before I put the slide up is technology. Go and check out the technology yourself. So Alex was in here talking about Acala. We talked about Moonbeam. We talked about A-Star, some of these other Polkadot auctions that, guess what, actually won the auctions. Go figure. And I went in and I played with them. I attached my wallets to them. I attached my Polkadot wallet. I go in and play with those. I test out the technology. I pull it up on my mobile app. I really try to find out what's going on. I push and poke and I prod and I try to road test some of this stuff. And again, it's just one of the most important things to do. And I'll put this slide up here and you can see one of the technology pieces. And again, this was me going to the Moonbeam website. This is me going to one of the other websites as well and plugging in. Does it have a user experience that works? Does it have a user interface that works? Is it actually functioning? You'd be surprised what you can find out about just kicking the tires on the technology, finding out what people are saying, finding out if people are developing on these protocols. And again, it's part of your due diligence that you must do before you invest in these companies. And again, you've heard this expression, do your own research. And it's so important to do. So I'll take that slide off the screen and just say those are three of the T's. Again, we can always go into tokenomics and terms and conditions. I'm going to have to save that for another broadcast because that can get pretty deep. Let me just say this. Not all tokens are created equal. That's the truth. And not all have the same monetary policies. Not all have the same vesting schedules. Not all have the same economics or even terms when you buy. So you've got to look into these details before investing in any protocol. And these are some of the things that we go deep into the DeFi Academy.